A chance encounter. In the heart of a vibrant city, filled with the sounds of honking cars and the chatter of busy people, lay a quaint neighborhood. It was an area often overlooked by the bustling crowds, but for its residents, it was a small haven where they found solace amidst the chaos of urban life. Among these residents was 8-year-old Mia and her mother, Angela. Their modest apartment, though compact, was brimming with warmth and love. It was a space that reflected their lives, simple yet filled with the vibrant colors of laughter and hope. Mia was a bright-eyed little girl with a smile that could pierce through the gloomiest of days. Her curly hair danced as she moved, an extension of her lively spirit. Every corner of her life seemed touched by wonder. She was perpetually curious, exploring her surroundings with an infectious enthusiasm. Angela, a hard-working single mother, dedicated herself to providing for Mia and nurturing her dreams. Their home was a canvas of memories. A collection of Mia's colorful drawings hung on the walls, shelves filled with well-loved books that Angela had read to her countless times, and a small kitchen where they often cooked together, sharing stories and dreams over simmering pots and warm oven aromas. It was a sunny Friday afternoon when the school bell rang, signaling the end of yet another day filled with learning and laughter. Mia bounded out of the school gates, her backpack bouncing energetically against her back. Today was special, as the warmth of the sun wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, making her feel invincible. With a skip in her step, she headed toward the nearby park, her favorite place where she could forget about school and embrace the joys of childhood. The park was a small oasis amidst the concrete and steel, with green grass and towering trees that offered a refuge from the city's hustle. As she made her way along the familiar path, the sounds of children playing and birds chirping filled the air. However, today, something felt different. As Mia approached the playground, her gaze fell upon a figure she had never seen before. Sitting on a bench near the swings was an older man. His clothes were tattered and worn, hanging loosely on his thin frame, while his beard was unkempt and wild. He sat hunched over, his eyes cast downward, seemingly lost in a world of his own, far removed from the laughter that surrounded him. Maya felt a tug at her heart, a mix of curiosity and compassion. She slowed her pace, observing the man more closely. There was a heaviness in his presence that made her wonder about his story. As she drew nearer, she could hear the faint rumbling of his stomach, a sound that resonated with her own. It was a gentle reminder that not everyone experienced the same warmth and abundance that filled her life. Taking a deep breath, Mia approached the bench. "Excuse me, sir," she said softly, her voice a melodic whisper. The man looked up, his eyes clouded with surprise. They were deep blue, like the ocean, yet filled with sadness, reflecting a life marked by struggles. Mia continued, her heart pounding a little. "I have a sandwich. Would you like to share it with me?" The man's expression shifted from surprise to disbelief. "Are you sure, little one? That's very kind of you," he replied, his voice gravelly yet warm. Mia nodded, her determination unwavering. She reached into her backpack and pulled out the sandwich, carefully wrapped in plastic, the peanut butter and jelly glistening in the sunlight. It was her favorite, but in this moment, she felt an overwhelming desire to share it. As she handed it to him, their fingers brushed for a brief moment, and she could feel the warmth of his hand against her small palm. He took the sandwich, gratitude washing over his features. "Thank you, dear child. You have a kind heart." Mia watched as he took a bite, savoring the taste, and for a moment, the world around them faded away. She felt a sense of joy swell within her. The simple act of sharing had created a connection that transcended their differences. They sat together in comfortable silence, the park around them alive with laughter and play. But as the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Maya realized it was time for her to head home. "I have to go now, but I hope you have a nice day," she said, giving him a cheerful wave. As she turned to leave, the man called out to her, "Wait. What's your name, little angel?" "Mia," she replied with a bright smile. "Mia," he echoed, a hint of a smile breaking through his weary expression. "Thank you for your kindness. You never know how much a small act can mean to someone." With that, Mia waved one last time before heading down the path that led home. Her heart was light, filled with a warmth that comes from doing something good for someone else. She had shared her lunch, but what she had gained was far more significant: a glimpse into the power of compassion. As Mia arrived at their apartment, she found Angela bustling around the kitchen, the aroma of dinner filling the air. "Hi, Mom," Mia called out, her voice bubbling with excitement. She rushed to her mother, enveloping her in a warm embrace. "How was school today, sweetheart?" Angela asked, tussling Maya's hair affectionately. "Great, I made a new friend," Maya said, her eyes sparkling. She rushed to recount her encounter with the man in the park, emphasizing how happy it made her to share her sandwich. Angela listened intently, her heart swelling with pride. "You are such a kind girl, Mia. I'm so proud of you for sharing your lunch. That man must have really needed it." Mia nodded enthusiastically. "I think so, Mom. He looked really sad. But now, I feel really happy." That evening, as they sat together for dinner, Angela marveled at how Maya's spirit seemed to brighten the room. They laughed and shared stories, with Mia animatedly discussing her day. But what neither of them realized was that Mia's act of kindness was about to set off a chain of events that would change their lives forever. The next day, as dawn broke and the city began to stir, Mia's life would take an unexpected turn. Little did she know, the kindness she had shown would not only touch the heart of a stranger, but would also bring the attention of those who sought to help, transforming not just her life, but the lives of those around her in ways she could never have imagined. The ripple effect. The following day dawned bright and clear, the sun casting its golden rays over the city. Mia woke up, the sounds of birds chirping outside her window filtering into her dreams, gently pulling her into consciousness. Stretching her arms above her head, she felt a bubbling excitement within her, a thrill from the kindness she had shared the day before. As she shuffled into the kitchen, she was greeted by the delicious aroma of pancakes sizzling on the stove. "Good morning, sleepyhead," Angela chimed, flipping a pancake with a practiced flick of her wrist. "You're just in time for breakfast. I made your favorite." Mia's eyes lit up at the sight of fluffy pancakes stacked high on the table, drizzled with syrup and topped with fresh berries. "Yum. Thanks, Mom," she exclaimed, clambering onto her seat. As they ate together, Mia's heart was light, filled with the warmth of the previous day's encounter. "Mom, do you think I'll see the man again?" she asked, her voice softening with curiosity. Angela paused, her fork hovering midair. "Well, sweetheart, the city is big, but you never know. Maybe he'll be there again." Mia nodded, her mind racing with thoughts of what the man might be like and how she could help him further. They finished breakfast, and as Mia got ready for school, she decided she wanted to do something special. Maybe she could save her lunch today and share with him again if she saw him. After a day filled with lessons and laughter, Mia raced out of school, her heart pounding with anticipation. The park felt like a magnet, pulling her in with the promise of a familiar connection. As she entered, the sounds of joy enveloped her, the laughter of children playing, the rustling leaves overhead, and the distant bark of a dog chasing after a frisbee. But as she looked around, her heart sank a little. The bench where she had met the man was empty. She felt a twinge of disappointment but shook it off. Maybe he'll come later, she reassured herself, plopping down on the swings and starting to pump her legs. Up and down, higher and higher she went, feeling the thrill of the wind against her face. However, her joy was short-lived. After a half-hour of playing and still no sign of the man, Mia's heart felt heavy. Maybe he had moved on, or maybe he didn't want to return. Just as she was about to leave, she noticed a couple walking towards her, their eyes wide with concern. They stopped in front of her, and the woman spoke first, her voice soft yet filled with urgency. "Excuse me, little girl. Have you seen an older man around here? He's wearing tattered clothes and has a beard." Mia's heart raced. "Yes, I saw him yesterday. He was sitting on that bench over there." She pointed toward the empty bench, her brow furrowing as worry crept in. "I shared my sandwich with him." The couple exchanged a glance, their expressions a mix of relief and gratitude. "Thank you, sweetheart," the man said. "We're looking for him. He's a friend of ours, and we're worried about him. We thought he might be here." "Worried? Why?" Maya asked, her small voice laced with concern. The woman knelt down to Mia's level. "He's been going through a tough time, and we've been trying to help him. He used to have a home but lost it. We wanted to check on him and bring him some food." Mia's heart swelled with compassion. "He looked really sad. I hope he's okay. Thank you for sharing your sandwich with him." "That was very kind," the man said, standing back up. "It's people like you who remind us that there's still kindness in the world." As they walked away, Maya felt a strange mix of emotions. She wanted to help this man more. She decided that she would bring extra food from home every day, just in case he returned. With renewed determination, she headed home, her mind racing with ideas of how she could spread kindness not just to him but to others in need. That evening, while Angela was preparing dinner, Mia shared her plans. "Mom, can we make extra food for a man I met in the park? He might come back tomorrow." Angela looked at her daughter, pride blooming in her heart. "Of course, Mia. That's a wonderful idea. We can make sandwiches together." Mia beamed at her mother's support. As they whipped up a batch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Mia's mind was filled with dreams of making a difference. She could already envision the man's surprised smile when he received her offering. The next morning, Mia hurried to school, clutching a small brown paper bag filled with 2 sandwiches and a piece of fruit. The anticipation bubbled within her as the school day dragged on, her thoughts constantly drifting to the park and the man. Finally, the last bell rang, and she dashed out of the classroom, racing toward the park. Her heart pounded with excitement and a hint of nervousness. As she entered the park, she scanned the area, her hopes rising and falling as she looked at every bench. But again, the man was nowhere to be found. Just when she was about to lose hope, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Mia." She turned to see the couple from the day before. They approached her with concerned expressions. "We've been looking for him too," the woman said, her voice laced with urgency. "He didn't come back yesterday, and we're worried. Have you seen him?" Mia shook her head, her heart sinking. "No, I haven't. I wanted to bring him food." The man knelt down beside her again, his expression softening. "You're very brave and kind for wanting to help. We're doing everything we can to find him." Just then, Mia spotted a flash of movement at the far end of the park. Her heart raced as she saw a familiar figure, the man from the day before. His head was down, and he shuffled slowly, looking tired and worn. "There he is," Mia exclaimed, pointing in his direction. The couple turned, their faces lighting up with relief. "Thank you, Mia," they said, before rushing toward the man. Mia followed closely behind, her heart racing with excitement and concern. As they reached the man, the couple gently approached him. "John," the woman called out softly. The man looked up, surprise flooding his features. "Martha." "Jake?" His voice was hoarse, yet filled with warmth. Mia stood back, watching the reunion unfold. It was like witnessing a scene from a movie. The joy of recognition, the comfort of friendship. "We've been worried about you. We brought you something to eat," Martha said, reaching into her bag and pulling out food. John's expression softened as he accepted their offerings, his eyes shimmering with gratitude. "Thank you, my friends. You have no idea how much this means to me." Mia couldn't help but smile as she saw the warmth of kindness enveloping them. But she knew she wanted to be part of this moment. Summoning her courage, she stepped forward. "Excuse me, sir." John turned to her, surprise flickering in his eyes. "Yes, little one. I brought you sandwiches," she said, holding out the brown paper bag with trembling hands. "I wanted to share with you again." His face lit up with a genuine smile, the kind that transformed his entire demeanor. "You're a little angel, aren't you?" "Thank you so much, Mia." Mia's heart soared as she watched him take the bag from her. Their eyes locked for a moment, and in that exchange, a bond was formed, one that transcended age, race, and circumstance. As they sat together, sharing food and stories, Maya felt the ripple of her small act of kindness expanding into something greater. She realized that kindness had a way of connecting people, of creating a community that transcended barriers. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Mia knew she had made a difference, not just in John's life, but in her own. She had sparked something within herself, a desire to be a light in the world, and in that moment, she felt invincible. With each smile exchanged and each story shared, Maya learned that kindness was not just about giving. It was about connection, about understanding the struggles of others, and reaching out with an open heart. She knew she would continue to spread that kindness wherever she went. Little did Mia know, this was only the beginning of her journey. The ripples she created would extend beyond the park, leading to surprising consequences that would change her life, and the lives of many others, in ways she could never have imagined. Unraveling connections. As days turned into weeks, Mia's routine became a heartwarming ritual. Every afternoon after school, she would hurry to the park with a brown paper bag filled with homemade sandwiches, fruits, and occasionally a small treat, like cookies or granola bars. She'd scan the area, hoping to spot John sitting on the bench, his weary expression softening into a smile when he saw her. And on those days when he was absent, she didn't feel defeated. Instead, she felt a quiet determination to keep returning, knowing that one day he would come back. In the early mornings before school, Mia and Angela would prepare lunch together, the kitchen filled with laughter and the warm scent of peanut butter. "You're like a little chef, Mia," Angela would tease as Mia expertly spread the peanut butter with a grin. "Maybe one day you can open your own sandwich shop." Mia giggled, the thought of a sandwich shop filled with smiles and kindness appealing to her. "I could call it Mia's Magic Sandwiches," she declared, envisioning a vibrant little place where everyone was welcome and kindness was served alongside lunch. One sunny afternoon, as Mia sat on the swings in the park, she noticed John walking towards her. He looked a bit different today, cleaner, more put together. His beard was trimmed, and he wore a fresh shirt that looked like it had seen better days, but was certainly an improvement. Mia's heart swelled with joy at the sight of him. "John," she called out, her voice ringing with excitement. He looked up, a wide grin breaking across his face. "Mia, it's so good to see you." He approached her, and for the first time, she noticed a twinkle of hope in his eyes, as if her kindness had ignited a spark within him. "I brought you some lunch," she exclaimed, handing him the bag. John accepted it with both hands, his eyes glistening. "You know, you're one of the best things that's happened to me in a long time." Mia beamed with pride, her heart swelling with the warmth of his words. "What happened to you, John? You look different. Happier." He chuckled softly, taking a seat on the swing next to hers. "Well, I've been thinking a lot about my life. Your kindness made me realize that I want to make a change. I've been reaching out for help. I talked to my friends Martha and Jake, and they've been a great support." Mia listened intently, her youthful innocence allowing her to grasp the weight of his words. "That's amazing. I'm so glad." "Yes, it is. You inspired me, Mia. Your small act of kindness brought me back to life," he said, taking a bite from one of the sandwiches, a look of genuine pleasure crossing his face. "This is fantastic. I can taste the love in it." Mia giggled, feeling a sense of pride swell within her. "Mom helped me make it." As they sat there sharing the sandwiches, Mia couldn't help but ask, What's next for you, John? He paused, contemplating her question. Well, I want to find a job again. I used to work in a bakery, you know. I loved baking. And I'd like to get back to it. But first, I need a safe place to stay. That's my goal right now. Mia nodded, her young mind racing with possibilities. You should totally do it. And then you can make all the sandwiches you want. John laughed, the sound bright and full of life. You know what? I think I might just open a little bakery one day. John's Corner Bakery has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement. Yes, and you can teach me how to bake too. Their laughter echoed through the park, and in that moment, it felt as though the struggles of yesterday had melted away, leaving only the warmth of friendship and dreams of the future. After that afternoon, Mia and John began to meet more frequently. She would come by after school, and he would often share stories about his life before everything changed. John spoke of a time filled with warmth, of baking bread and pastries, of customers who would come into the bakery and leave with a smile. One day, as they were sitting under a sprawling oak tree, John shared a particularly poignant memory. I remember a little girl who would come into the bakery every Saturday with her mom. She always ordered a cupcake and would giggle as she picked out her favorite sprinkles. One day, I gave her an extra cupcake for free. She looked so happy, and her smile made my day. I hope she remembers that. Mia listened, enthralled by his stories. You made her day too, just like you made mine. Their bond deepened with each shared story, and Mia began to understand more about the world outside her little bubble. She learned about the challenges faced by people like John, and how kindness could serve as a bridge, connecting lives and healing wounds. However, while Maya found joy in their friendship, she also noticed a shift in the atmosphere around her. Word of her kindness spread throughout the neighborhood. Parents and kids in the park began to take notice, and soon, Mia became known as the little girl who shared her sandwiches. One afternoon, while Mia was playing on the swings, a group of children approached her. Hey, Mia, we heard you helped that homeless guy. One girl said, a mix of admiration and curiosity in her voice. Mia nodded, proud of her new role. Yes, his name is John. He's really nice. Why do you help him? Another child asked, skepticism creeping into his tone. Mia's brow furrowed slightly as she contemplated her answer. Because everyone deserves kindness. He was sad, and I wanted to help him feel better. You never know how much a little bit of kindness can mean to someone. The children exchanged glances, unsure of how to respond. Finally, one of them spoke up. I think that's cool, Mia. We should all do that. Can we help too? The idea sparked a sense of excitement within Mia. Yes, we can all make sandwiches and bring them here. The children quickly rallied together, and soon, a plan was formed. They would host a kindness day in the park, where they would prepare sandwiches, snacks, and drinks to share with those in need. The news spread quickly, and parents began to get involved, offering their time and resources to help the kids succeed in their mission. With each passing day, anticipation grew, and the community buzzed with excitement. Mia felt like a little leader, her heart soaring as she watched everyone come together for a common cause. The park transformed into a vibrant hub of activity, with families organizing, baking, and preparing for the event. Finally, the day arrived, and the park was filled with laughter and the sense of fresh food. Tables were set up with colorful decorations, and children ran around, their faces painted with joy. As Mia looked around, she felt a swell of pride. They had created something beautiful, a community of kindness. She spotted John, who had become more of a fixture in the park since their friendship began. He was mingling with the adults, sharing stories about his journey, his spirit reignited by the support of those around him. Hey, Mia, John called out as he approached her. This is incredible. You've inspired everyone to come together. Mia smiled, her cheeks flushing with happiness. I couldn't have done it without you, John. You showed me how important kindness is. "Remember, Mia, it's not just about what we give but the connections we create," he said, his eyes twinkling. "You're doing something amazing here." As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the park, Maya felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She watched as people gathered around, sharing food, laughter, and stories, creating a tapestry of community that transcended their individual differences. But amid the joy and celebration, a flicker of uncertainty crossed Maya's mind. What would happen after this day? Would the kindness fade, or would it spark something deeper within the community? As she pondered this, a commotion arose near one of the tables. Maya turned to see a police car slowly rolling into the park, its lights flashing softly against the backdrop of evening hues. The sight sent a ripple of apprehension through the crowd. A tall officer stepped out, surveying the scene, and approached where the children were gathered. Maya's heart raced, worry creeping in. Did they do something wrong? The officer cleared his throat, capturing everyone's attention. "Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say how heartwarming it is to see this incredible gathering of kindness. It's nice to see the community come together like this." Relief washed over Mia, and she felt a warmth spread through her chest. Perhaps this was just the beginning. The officer continued, "We're here to support community efforts like yours. If you ever need assistance or want to organize another event, don't hesitate to reach out. It's important that we keep spreading kindness." With that, the officer turned to leave, but Maya felt compelled to speak up. "Thank you, officer. We're just trying to help." The officer paused and smiled. "And that's what makes you all heroes in your own right. Keep it up, kids." As he walked away, Mia's heart soared. They had not only created a day of kindness, but had caught the attention of their local community, igniting a spark of hope that would continue to grow. The Kindness Day ended with a magical atmosphere. Laughter filled the air, hearts opened, and a bond formed that felt stronger than anything Mia had experienced before. As night fell and the stars twinkled above, Mia knew one thing for sure. Kindness was a powerful force that could weave connections in the most unexpected places, and she was ready to embrace the adventures that awaited her next, wherever they might lead. Little did she know that the ripple effect of her small act of kindness was just beginning, and the transformations it set in motion would lead to remarkable discoveries, not just for her, but for an entire community. A community awakens. In the weeks following the successful Kindness Day, Mia noticed a palpable change in her neighborhood. The park, once merely a play area, had transformed into a vibrant hub of connection and compassion. Every time she walked by, she saw people laughing together, sharing stories, and lending a hand to those in need. Children from her school and beyond had begun to frequent the park, and the atmosphere felt charged with positivity. Mia's friendship with John blossomed, and he became a constant presence in her life. With the support of his friends, Martha and Jake, John had found temporary housing at a local shelter. This new environment provided him with the stability he needed to pursue a job. Inspired by Mia's kindness, he often volunteered at the shelter, helping others who found themselves in similar situations. One afternoon, as Mia swung back and forth on the playground, she spotted John talking animatedly with a small group of adults near the community garden. Curiosity piqued, she hopped off the swing and jogged over to him. "Hey, John, what's going on?" she asked, her eyes wide with excitement. "Mia," he exclaimed, his face lighting up. "We're discussing ideas for a community project to help those who are struggling. With the interest generated from Kindness Day, we thought it would be great to keep the momentum going." Mia's heart raced at the thought. "What kind of project?" John grinned, kneeling down to her level. "We're thinking about creating a community kitchen where people can come together to prepare meals for those in need. It would be a place for everyone to contribute, share skills, and learn from one another." "That sounds amazing," Mia exclaimed, her mind buzzing with possibilities. "Can I help?" "Of course," John replied, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "We could use all the hands we can get. We're planning to hold a meeting next week. Would you like to come? Yes, I'll ask my mom if she can come too, Maya said, feeling a surge of purpose. The days that followed were filled with excitement as word spread about the upcoming meeting. Mia and John teamed up to create colorful flyers that they distributed around the neighborhood, inviting everyone to join the effort. They made sure to emphasize the idea that everyone could contribute, regardless of their cooking skills. When the day of the meeting arrived, the community center buzzed with anticipation. Mia stood at the entrance, her small frame barely containing her excitement as she welcomed people as they arrived. Families, individuals from different backgrounds, and those who had been part of Kindness Day came together, creating a tapestry of humanity united by a common goal. As Mia looked around, she was filled with pride at how her small act of kindness had led to this moment. The room was decorated with posters created by the kids, celebrating kindness and community spirit. John stood at the front, preparing to address the gathering. "Welcome, everyone," he began, his voice ringing with enthusiasm. "Thank you all for coming. Today, we're here to discuss something that can truly make a difference in our neighborhood. We've seen the power of kindness, and now it's time to take that to the next level." As he spoke, Mia watched the faces in the crowd light up with hope and inspiration. She could feel the energy in the room shift as people began to engage with one another, sharing ideas and building connections. After John spoke, Maya stood up, her heart pounding in her chest. "I want to say something too," she declared, her voice strong and unwavering. "Kindness is about coming together to help each other, just like I helped John. We can all make a difference." The room erupted in applause, and Mia beamed with pride. She felt empowered and knew that this was just the beginning of something bigger than herself. The group broke into smaller circles, brainstorming ideas and assigning roles. Maya found herself in a group with other children, excitedly discussing how they could gather food donations. They decided to host a community harvest, where families could donate surplus fruits and vegetables from their gardens. Weeks passed, and the energy around the community kitchen project continued to build. People came together in unexpected ways, forming friendships and connections that transcended their initial backgrounds. Mia often found herself in the center of these gatherings, her enthusiasm infectious. As the first community harvest approached, Mia and her friends organized fun activities to draw people in. They set up games for children, face painting, and even a small talent show where locals could showcase their skills. The day of the event finally arrived, and the park overflowed with energy. Stalls were set up, filled with fresh produce, homemade treats, and delicious smells wafting through the air. Families set up picnic blankets, laughing and sharing stories, creating a festive atmosphere. Mia ran around, helping wherever she could, her heart swelling with pride as she saw people from all walks of life mingling and enjoying the day. "Look at all the food we've gathered," she exclaimed to John, pointing toward a long table filled with vibrant fruits and vegetables. John smiled, his eyes shining. "This is incredible, Mia. We're going to make such a difference with this food." As the day progressed, people began to share their culinary skills, gathering around the community kitchen area where volunteers set up stoves and prep stations. Some locals offered to teach others how to cook traditional dishes from their cultures, creating a rich tapestry of flavors and experiences. Amid the bustling activity, Mia noticed a familiar figure standing at the edge of the park. It was the couple, Martha and Jake, who had first approached her in search of John. They were holding hands, smiling as they took in the scene before them. Maya ran over to them, her heart full of gratitude. "Hi, I'm so glad to see you. Look at everything we've done," she said, her voice bubbling with excitement. Martha knelt down, her expression warm. "Mia, this is amazing. We're so proud of you for bringing the community together like this." Jake chimed in, "You've created something truly special here. It's inspiring to see everyone working together to help those in need." Just then, a commotion erupted near the entrance of the park. Maya turned to see a group of people approaching, some carrying large boxes filled with food. A few were dressed in uniforms, volunteers from local organizations who had come to contribute. "Is this the community harvest?" one of the volunteers called out, grinning widely. Mia's eyes widened in disbelief. "Yes, you're here to help." The volunteers nodded, bringing smiles and cheers from the crowd. As they unpacked boxes of canned goods, dry staples, and even bags of rice, Mia felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. This was more than she had ever hoped for. As the afternoon wore on, the community kitchen buzzed with laughter, the clanging of pots and pans, and the aromas of diverse dishes wafting through the air. People mingled, forming bonds over shared recipes and culinary traditions. Mia's heart was full as she witnessed the powerful connections that blossomed from their efforts. It became clear that the impact of their kindness extended far beyond food. It was about building a network of support and love. Later that evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Maya stood with John and watched as families gathered for a communal meal. They shared stories, laughter, and delicious food, their voices mingling in a harmonious symphony of connection. "Mia," John said, looking down at her with pride, "what you've started here is incredible. You've shown everyone that small acts of kindness can ignite a movement." Mia beamed up at him, her heart swelling with happiness. "I just wanted to help. I didn't know it would be this big." "Kindness has a way of multiplying," John replied, his voice warm. "You've inspired so many people, including me. I can't thank you enough." As they stood together, a feeling of unity washed over them. Maya realized that she wasn't just helping John. She was nurturing a community. She was a catalyst for change, bringing together people who, until recently, might have never crossed paths. As the day drew to a close, the sky transformed into a tapestry of oranges and purples, a stunning backdrop to the community's newfound connections. John turned to Mia, his eyes serious yet filled with warmth. "This is just the beginning, Mia. We've sparked something beautiful, but it's up to all of us to keep it alive." Mia nodded, her heart racing with possibilities. "We can do this. Together." The event ended with a heartfelt speech from John, who thanked everyone for their contributions and reminded them of the importance of community and kindness. As he spoke, Mia couldn't help but feel a sense of purpose wash over her. Little did she know, this was just a stepping stone toward even greater adventures and challenges that awaited them. The bonds they had formed, the lives they had touched, and the kindness they had spread were merely the first layers of a much larger story yet to unfold. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Mia's heart was full, and she felt ready for whatever came next. She knew that the journey of kindness was just beginning, and she was determined to keep the spirit alive, one sandwich at a time. A new challenge. As the months rolled by, the community kitchen project flourished, becoming a staple in Mia's neighborhood. What had begun as a small act of kindness had blossomed into a vibrant community initiative. The weekly gatherings drew more and more participants, turning into a joyful blend of cooking, learning, and sharing experiences. Each event added a new layer to the fabric of the community, creating lasting friendships and a network of support. However, as the project thrived, Maya faced an unexpected challenge. One chilly afternoon, as she and her mother, Angela, walked home from school, Maya noticed an unusual amount of commotion outside the community center. A crowd had gathered, their voices rising in agitation. Curiosity piqued, she tugged at Angela's hand, urging her to take a closer look. As they approached, Mia's heart sank. She recognized some of the voices arguing about the use of the community center. A group of local business owners was clashing with residents over the increasing popularity of the community kitchen project. "It's taking away from our business," one of the owners shouted. "People are coming here instead of dining at our restaurants." Another chimed in, "We're losing money because of this. It needs to stop." Mia stood frozen, her mind racing. She could see the tension in the air, the frustration etched on the faces of both sides. The laughter and warmth she had come to associate with the community kitchen were replaced by an underlying current of anger. "Mia, let's go home," Angela said gently, sensing her daughter's distress. "No, Mom. I want to help," Mia insisted, determination lighting her eyes. "We can't let this ruin what we've built." Angela hesitated, then nodded. "All right, but be careful. Let's see what we can do." With newfound resolve, Mia stepped forward, her small voice rising above the crowd. "Excuse me," she called out, surprising both her mother and the assembled adults. "Can I say something?" Everyone turned to look at her, some surprised, others annoyed. Mia's heart raced, but she pressed on, drawing strength from the warmth she had felt at the community kitchen events. "Hi, I'm Mia," she began, standing tall. "I'm just a kid, but I love the community kitchen. It's not just about food. It's about bringing people together. We share meals, stories, and laughter. Isn't that what a community is about?" The crowd fell silent, some people exchanging glances, unsure of how to respond. Maya took a deep breath and continued. "If you're worried about business, we can work together. What if we include the restaurants in our gatherings? Maybe they could cater some meals or host special events." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The tension began to dissolve, replaced by curiosity. "That's a great idea," one resident exclaimed. "We could showcase local businesses at our events." "I'd love to collaborate with the restaurants," Mia said enthusiastically. "Everyone can benefit if we all work together." At that moment, a figure stepped forward from the business owner side. Mr. Rodriguez, the owner of the popular diner down the street. He crossed his arms and furrowed his brow, his expression serious but thoughtful. "Mia, I admire your passion," he said, his voice steady. "But we have bills to pay. We rely on customers coming to our restaurants. How do you propose we make that work?" Mia's mind raced. What if we set up a special night at the community kitchen where people can try samples from different restaurants? Everyone can come together, enjoy the food, and maybe get to know your restaurants better. It could be a win-win. Mr. Rodriguez considered her words, and Mia held her breath, hoping her idea would resonate with him. "That's an interesting idea, kid. If people love the food from the restaurants, they might want to visit more often." A few heads nodded in agreement, and a sense of camaraderie began to build among the crowd. Encouraged, Mia continued, "Let's have a meeting. We can all sit down and figure out how to make this work together. No one has to lose anything. We can create something better." After a few moments of hesitation, Mr. Rodriguez extended a hand. "All right, Mia, you have a deal. Let's set up a meeting and see how we can combine our efforts." The crowd erupted into applause, a mixture of relief and excitement washing over them. Maya turned to Angela, who looked both proud and relieved. "See, Mom, we can work it out," Mia exclaimed, her face glowing with joy. Over the next few weeks, the newly formed partnership flourished. Mia helped coordinate the meeting, where local business owners, residents, and volunteers gathered to brainstorm ideas. They shared food and laughter, working out plans that would benefit everyone involved. The first collaborative event, Taste of the Neighborhood, was scheduled for a sunny Saturday afternoon. Mia's heart raced with anticipation. She had envisioned this day for weeks, and now it was finally happening. The community kitchen was transformed into a lively festival space, with colorful banners, tables laden with food samples from various local restaurants, and music playing in the background. Children darted around, their laughter mingling with the aroma of delicious dishes being prepared. Mia stood at the entrance, greeting attendees with a huge smile, her heart swelling with pride. "Welcome. Come try some amazing food," she called, waving at familiar faces. As the crowd grew, Maya felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. The collaboration had not only brought food to the table, but had also fostered a spirit of unity within the community. She watched as families mingled, sharing dishes and learning about the restaurants they had previously overlooked. Mr. Rodriguez and other business owners worked side by side with volunteers, showcasing their best recipes. There was a tangible excitement in the air as attendees sampled everything from spicy tacos to decadent desserts, each bite revealing a story of its own. Mia's heart soared as she spotted John helping a group of kids decorate cupcakes, laughter bubbling from their little gathering. She felt a wave of happiness knowing that her act of kindness had led to this beautiful chain of events. As the afternoon progressed, Mia took a moment to step back and soak in the atmosphere. She spotted a group of older residents sitting together, sharing stories about their favorite dishes from childhood. Nearby, a few teenagers were snapping pictures for social media, capturing the vibrancy of the day. "Hey, Mia," John called out, waving her over. "You've got to see this." Curious, she rushed to his side, where he stood with a group of kids who had just finished decorating cupcakes. "Look at what we made," they shouted in unison, holding up their colorful creations, each one a messy masterpiece. "Wow, those are amazing," Mia praised, grinning from ear to ear. "You guys are so talented." Just then, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd as Mr. Rodriguez stood up to give a speech. "Thank you all for coming out today. This event wouldn't be possible without Mia's idea and everyone's hard work. Let's celebrate our community and the wonderful flavors we all bring to the table." Mia blushed, her heart racing as the crowd turned to her, applauding. She raised her hands in gratitude, overwhelmed by the warmth surrounding her. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, Mia felt a sense of peace wash over her. The taste of the neighborhood had been a resounding success, and she couldn't have been prouder. The community had come together in ways she had only dreamed of, breaking down barriers and fostering connections. As families packed up their leftovers and children chased each other in joyful abandon, Mia knew that this was just another step on her journey of kindness. She realized that while she had sparked the idea, it was the collective effort of everyone involved that had turned it into a reality. Looking over at John, who was busy engaging with the kids, Mia felt a deep sense of gratitude. The challenges they had faced had only strengthened their resolve. It reminded her that sometimes the greatest obstacles can lead to the most beautiful transformations. In that moment, she made a silent promise to herself. She would continue to spread kindness and advocate for those in need, inspiring others to join her in this journey. The lessons learned and connections made were invaluable, and she was determined to keep the spirit of community alive, one event at a time. As the last rays of sun dipped below the horizon, Mia looked around at the joyful faces surrounding her, knowing that together they had created something truly special. The path ahead was filled with promise and potential, and she was ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead, heart full of hope and excitement for the future. Beyond the kitchen, as the dust settled from the successful Taste of the Neighborhood event, Mia felt an invigorating wave of energy coursing through her. The joy of bringing her community together had ignited a fire within her, and she was eager to explore how they could continue to nurture the bonds they had created. Little did she know, however, that the next chapter of her journey would present unexpected challenges and opportunities. One morning, as Mia walked to school, she noticed a flyer posted on the community bulletin board. It announced an upcoming grant opportunity for community-driven projects aimed at reducing food insecurity in urban neighborhoods. The wheels in her mind began to turn. What if they could secure funding to expand their community kitchen and offer more resources to those in need? "Mama," Mia exclaimed when she got home from school that day, "there's a grant we can apply for to support the community kitchen." Angela looked up from her laptop, intrigued. "That sounds like a fantastic idea, Mia. What's the process?" Mia shared her excitement, explaining how the grant would help them buy kitchen equipment, host cooking classes, and even create a community garden. "We could make it even bigger and better," she said, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. Angela smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "I'm so impressed by your dedication, sweetheart. Let's sit down and write a plan together. But we'll need help with this." It's a big project. Mia nodded, understanding the importance of collaboration. She thought of John, Martha, Jake, and the many friends she had made through the Community Kitchen initiative. We can ask everyone who's been involved to help us write the proposal. I bet they'll have great ideas. That evening, Mia sent out an email to everyone in their Community Kitchen network, inviting them to a brainstorming session at the community center. Her heart raced with anticipation as she crafted her message, knowing that this could be a turning point for their efforts. The following weekend, the community center buzzed with energy as volunteers gathered to discuss the grant proposal. Maya stood at the front of the room, nervous but determined. "Thank you all for coming. I'm so excited to see how we can expand our community kitchen and make an even bigger impact." As she presented her vision, she could see the spark of excitement in the eyes of her friends and neighbors. They began to brainstorm ideas, discussing everything from educational cooking workshops to community events that would promote healthy eating. "Why not include a youth mentorship program?" suggested Martha, her enthusiasm palpable. "We could teach kids how to cook and give them the skills they need to prepare meals for their families." "That's a brilliant idea," Maya replied, her mind racing with possibilities. "We could even invite local chefs to come in and teach special classes." John raised his hand, a broad smile on his face. "And what if we create a recipe book featuring contributions from everyone in the community? It could include stories behind each dish, making it more personal." The room erupted with energy as ideas flowed freely. The discussion lasted for hours, and by the end of the meeting, they had crafted a comprehensive proposal that included everything from budget estimates to a timeline for implementation. Maya felt a deep sense of accomplishment as they wrapped up, knowing that they were working together to create something meaningful. The following week, they submitted the grant proposal with a mix of excitement and anxiety. Mia eagerly awaited the response, her mind filled with visions of the future. She imagined cooking classes buzzing with laughter, kids learning valuable skills, and families sharing meals together. A few weeks passed, and just as Mia began to worry that they might not hear back, an email arrived in her inbox. Her heart raced as she clicked it open, and as she read the words, a wave of joy washed over her. "Dear Mia and team, we are thrilled to inform you that your grant proposal has been approved. We believe in the power of community-driven initiatives and are excited to support your efforts to combat food insecurity in your neighborhood." The message continued with details about the funding and expectations for reporting, but Mia barely absorbed the words. She jumped up, her excitement bubbling over. "Mama, we got the grant," she shouted, rushing to share the news. Angela embraced her daughter, her heart swelling with pride. "That's amazing, Mia. I knew you could do it." Mia's joy was contagious, and soon, the whole community was celebrating. They organized a small gathering to announce the good news, and as Mia stood in front of her friends, she felt a surge of gratitude for everyone who had helped bring this vision to life. "This is just the beginning," she declared. "Together, we're going to make a difference in our community." As plans for the expanded community kitchen began to take shape, Mia and her friends worked tirelessly to implement their ideas. They reached out to local chefs and nutritionists, who generously offered to volunteer their time and expertise. Workshops were scheduled, and the excitement in the air was palpable. However, amid all the enthusiasm, Mia began to notice something unsettling. As they prepared for the upcoming workshops, some of the restaurant owners who had initially been excited about the collaboration seemed to be pulling away. A few even expressed reluctance to participate. During one meeting, Mr. Rodriguez voiced his concerns. "I love what you're doing, Mia, but the competition is fierce. Some of my regulars have mentioned they're planning to attend the community workshops instead of dining at my restaurant." Mia felt her heart drop. She had hoped the partnership would strengthen the community, not divide it. "But we're all in this together," she pleaded. "We can find a way to make it work for everyone. It's about creating opportunities for everyone to thrive." Martha chimed in. "Maybe we can promote the restaurants during the workshops. We can encourage everyone to support local businesses. While some nodded in agreement, others remained hesitant. The conversation became increasingly tense, and Maya felt the weight of disappointment settle in her chest. Maybe we should cancel the workshops, one owner suggested, crossing his arms defensively. It seems like we're only hurting our own businesses. Mia felt a wave of determination wash over her. No, we can't give up. We need to find a solution that works for everyone. Let's sit down together and talk this through. After several days of tense negotiations and discussions, the group finally agreed to hold a joint meeting with all parties involved: business owners, community members, and volunteers. The goal was to find a way to support each other while still pursuing the mission of the community kitchen. On the day of the meeting, Mia arrived early, her heart racing with anticipation. She hoped that this gathering would lead to a breakthrough. As people filtered in, she noticed a mix of apprehension and hope in the room. Once everyone was settled, Maya stood up, her voice steady and sincere. Thank you all for being here. I believe we can find common ground. Our goal is to build a community that supports each other. Let's share our concerns and ideas openly. As discussions unfolded, it became clear that fears about competition stemmed from a lack of understanding. Mia facilitated the conversation, urging everyone to listen and share their perspectives. Slowly, the atmosphere shifted from defensiveness to openness. One restaurant owner suggested a community night where participating restaurants would provide special discounts to customers who attended the workshops. That way, people can learn to cook at home and still support us, he explained. We can even showcase our dishes during the workshops. As the ideas flowed, Mia's heart soared. It became evident that they could create a symbiotic relationship where the community kitchen would enhance the local food culture rather than threaten it. After a few hours of constructive dialogue, they reached a consensus. The restaurant owners agreed to collaborate by providing ingredients for the workshops, while the community kitchen would promote their businesses and encourage participants to visit their restaurants. As the meeting concluded, Mia couldn't help but feel a sense of triumph. She had witnessed the power of communication and collaboration firsthand. This experience strengthened her resolve to keep nurturing the spirit of unity in her community. Over the following weeks, the workshops kicked off with great success. Each session was filled with laughter, learning, and delicious food. Local chefs led participants through hands-on cooking classes, while the community kitchen provided resources and support. Mia watched as friendships blossomed and connections deepened. Neighbors who had once been strangers shared meals, recipes, and stories that enriched their lives. The community kitchen became a hub of love and kindness, with people supporting one another in ways they had never imagined. The local businesses, in turn, began to thrive. Participants who had learned to cook from the workshops often ventured out to try the dishes they had sampled, boosting foot traffic in restaurants across the neighborhood. One evening, as Mia helped clean up after a bustling workshop, she spotted Mr. Rodriguez chatting with some attendees. She felt a rush of joy seeing him engaging with the community. Later, he approached her with a warm smile. Mia, I just wanted to say thank you. Your passion has made a difference. I've seen more familiar faces in my diner since we started working together. It's a win-win. Tears of happiness welled in Mia's eyes. I'm so glad to hear that. We're all in this together, and I believe that kindness is what makes our community strong. As the weeks turned into months, the community kitchen continued to evolve, becoming a vital resource in the neighborhood. They launched a community garden project, where residents could grow fresh produce together, further strengthening their bonds and commitment to healthy living. Through all the challenges and triumphs, Maya learned invaluable lessons about resilience, collaboration, and the power of community. She felt a deep sense of responsibility to ensure that the spirit of kindness she had ignited continued to thrive. One sunny afternoon, as she tended to the garden alongside her friends, Maya looked around at the vibrant plants and smiling faces. It struck her that each flower, vegetable, and person represented a unique story, a testament to the power of compassion and unity. Maya felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that her small act of kindness had led to a ripple effect far beyond what she could have ever imagined. The journey was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. With renewed determination, she vowed to continue spreading kindness, creating opportunities, and inspiring those around her. As they harvested the first crop of fresh vegetables from their community garden, Mia envisioned a future where their efforts could expand even further. Together, they would create a legacy of love and compassion that would ripple through generations to come. The laughter of children echoed in the background, blending harmoniously with the rustling leaves of the garden. Mia smiled, knowing that kindness was not just an act, it was a way of life, and she was proud to lead the way.